I will not be telling you what I have for breakfast.
Right. I still love the story.
Let's do more.
Ed Milet tells the story about hash browns. You ever heard that story?
Hash browns?
Yeah.
No.
It's Tony Robbins on the post and use hashtags. And Ed Milet thought he said hash browns, so he's taking pictures of breakfast with hash browns.
Oh, Ed Milet thought he meant hash browns.
Thought hashtag
to grow your social media.
Right.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I've heard him tell that story, and I'm getting it partially right.
Yeah.
But,
you told it terribly. I'm sure it's much more humorous than.
Well, it's his story.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you could have, put some effort into interpretation of it, I guess.
Some cheese, some shredded cheese.
You're supposed to be a storyteller here, right? This is supposed to paint these visuals.
Yeah. So, the music came on, so I figured.
Well, the music came on, but you were supposed to elevate at that point. Once the music came on, that was your indication to step it up.
That's right.
But that didn't happen. The good news is, though, we're here.
That's
we're
right.
here for another adventure today. Oh, the music stopped. Thank goodness. Somebody is present, it looks like, over there. I thought the whole thing just went rogue. Who knows? Well, folks, if you have heard the mindless banter, that means you have come to the right place.
That's right.
That's right. If you're looking to grow your business, then yes, you are here. Don't turn that dial. Remember people used to say that?
Yeah, I do.
Don't change that dial. We'll be right back.
Right,
you say that for
exactly
TV,
right.
and you would say that for
radio,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, back in your day when they had the knobs and the whole, you had to tune it.
Right, and you had to pull. You had to pull the button out to then push it back in.
Okay.
To save your spot.
And if you went it was like doing a safe. If you went a hair too far to the right, you completely missed the station.
100%.
Right? Yeah. And you had to kind of retune it in.
Yeah, and you had to pull over and make sure you had the right line.
Listen, I think having a historian with us is tremendously valuable here. Well, folks, this is the Grow Business Podcast. I'm your host, Cory Mosley. Joined in this driver's seat on this fantastic journey we're taking you on to grow your business. LG 007 Lon Graham's here. Voice of reason.
Good to be here, Cory.
Yes. And the man, the myth, the legend, playing the scenes. He crawls around every now and again when he tries to adjust something. He crawls up under us and all these other stuff. But Willie H is here.
Hit the buttons, William.
So if this is your first time joining the show, we put the topic or the name in the show to make it simple. So if you were scanning, you're like, oh, I wonder what this is.
Right.
Well, Grow Business Podcast.
Exactly.
So we're here to help you grow your business. That's what we're focused on. We do that based on my 5 pillars of growth. I believe all business growth challenges fall into one of 5 pillars. LG 007, one of those 5 pillars in the correct order.
Oh, well, now you're asking for all of it, right?
We should know this 80 units deep, 80 episodes deep here.
All right. Mindset, sales, marketing, operations, and purple.
I know you did that on purpose. Excellent. Can we give him something, a round of applause? All right. Woo, because he was headed towards a PIP, folks. We're definitely going to get him on a performance improvement plan if he couldn't figure that out. That's kind of a core tenet of being on the show here.
Okay.
We put you in some of the graphics. I hate to yank you out of the graphics after we just put you in the graphics because you don't know the 5 pillars. So
well, I've always known them.
Okay. Well, the order is important. The order is important.
Right, good.
For sure. So we use the 5 pillars. We base our shows on this, and that principle is based fundamentally on information from my latest book, Position for Growth, which is available on Amazon.com, now available on Kindle, and coming soon to Audible. We are Willie H. What are we? 5 chapters away. We are 5 chapters away from finishing the audio.
Oh, wow.
From the audio book. So that could mean 5 days or 5 weeks. But I've promised the Audible by summer. Because I get emails. It's like, oh, I'm sure the book's great. I just am not a reader. Do you have it on audio? I said, for the right price, I could read it to you.
That's exactly right.
Like a bedtime story.
Right. That's exactly right.
For the right price. Every night at 10, I could read you a chapter.
One chapter, that's right.
Yes.
That's
Zoom
right.
is powerful. I could Zoom read you.
Right.
But if that's not viable, for $20 shortly, you'll be able to do the audible.com, or if you got free credits or you got unlimited Audible.
Right.
I was terrified to see that you can get the Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read the book for free, basically,
Oh, wow, okay.
if you pay the Kindle Unlimited. I don't think the author makes anything off of that.
Probably
So I don't
not.
even think it's like a Spotify situation where I can get like 0.0001 pennies like for people. I'm not
Right.
sure. I have to look into that. But when we went to Kindle and I went and it's like, oh, read for free.
Right.
I was like, Daddy don't like you.
No.
What am I supposed to do with that? Well, today's show, we're covering another pillar. I want to dive right into that. We've got some great information for you here. LG, you have been on a losing streak lately in terms of guessing what pillar we're going to cover. Do you want to give it another stab today?
I always want to give it a stab. Let's go with
There's no rhyme or reason.
marketing.
Okay. Well, the good news is
The streak continues.
the streak continues. Today, we're going to be talking, we're going to be focused on the operations pillar.
Okay.
And we're going to be talking about when tech hurts.
Okay.
So the over-investing in tools that actually can stall your growth.
All right.
Because sometimes people go overboard.
Right.
Like, oh, we're going full on to the tech stack, full modernization. We're buying the latest this, and this.
Right.
And then they get in the mix. I went through this experience with a company that, was all set up. They're going to do this, they're going to do this. You can book your time, all that stuff, right? Just like, oh, Fluid, oh, this is great. They're in my area. They're going to come out and do this service. And they keep canceling my service appointment.
Oh, the client.
The service, keeps canceling the service appointment. But they don't tell me why. They just tell me I have to reschedule it. So basically saying they can't find somebody to fulfill the slot.
Oh, okay.
But why do you give me the time in the first place? Yeah, why do you give me the time? So now I'm on like my third, and I'm just crossing my fingers that I don't get some email that says, oh, we can't do that one either. I don't understand.
Just dumb.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been better for you to like ask me to select a couple options,
Right.
and then confirm with me what was selected or something like that, and then making
Right.
me feel like it's booked, and then sending me an email 24 hours later that, oops, keep trying.
Right.
So I think there's just elements here where people go overboard and they think the technology is going to solve all the problems, because we're all getting beaten ahead with AI, and we're getting beaten ahead with this. And I mean, again, I'm a big proponent of modernization, right?
Right.
You've got a crappy website, you need to replace that. You've got a
Right.
crappy CRM, you need to replace that. We do need to modernize, but there is such thing as over-engineering, and that's what we're going to get into today.
Sounds
What are
good.
some of your thoughts on that just overall before we get into the actual list?
Well, I think in that specific example, Corey, we're talking about over availability and not really being available.
Mm.
So, people say
Correct,
I can
correct.
book
Sure,
a calendar,
sure.
I can set my calendar up,
Mhm, mhm.
we can schedule something. I just can't, I just open it up. I don't control what's available and what I know I can deliver on.
Right.
And then what you do with that is, and this is, I think, probably part of what we're going to go into, is over availability belies your credibility when you can't deliver on it.
Mhm.
And over availability means, question the value of it, right? If you're like, I'm always open, my calendar's open.
Right.
Well, it means you don't have any business.
Right.
You can't control your business. So why would I want to work with you? And
Right.
at some point, you're going to stop scheduling
Mhm.
that appointment because they can't deliver.
Right. Correct. And then it's time for the refund.
Right. That's exactly
Then
right.
it's time to call the credit card company.
Right.
Tell them we no pay.
Yeah. Like they
Right.
can't.
Yeah. So, and there's a couple, there's actually I went through two circumstances that involved scheduling this past week. One, we were scheduled to go somewhere. This company was using Calendly, and we scheduled, and we got there, they were closed.
Oh, wow.
The person,
That bad.
yeah, indeed. The person was still out of the country.
Okay.
And this whole organization could not figure out how to manage this Calendly so that people weren't able to book while that person was gone.
Oh my gosh.
So the kicker is we redid the appointment 2 days later because of tariffs. the pricing on what we came there for went up
Okay.
the day before.
Oh, the day before your second appointment. Okay.
There was an increase in pricing,
Right.
like $50 to $100 per item,
Okay.
because of tariffs.
All right.
So, I wasn't having that.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
not.
So, but they did the right thing.
Okay.
They
Good.
did the right thing. Like,
Good.
that wasn't my fault that you weren't there Tuesday. Now,
Right.
had that not been an option, and then prices went up, fine. But I was there where I was supposed to be.
Right.
So let's not get stupid.
Well, like
but they did the right thing.
There
So
you go.
I can attest to that. All right. So let's get into this list. So I think number one, look at this psychologically. Like, one of the challenges here is a lot of times people have this illusion
Okay.
of efficiency.
Right.
We go to the technology to make us more efficient, right? So
Right.
the problem is, many of these tools do promise automation, they promise scale, but that doesn't always deliver ROI
Right.
when it's not actually aligned with the needs of the business.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
So it's like it's like a CRM, right?
correct.
That has a bunch of features
Right.
that no one uses correctly,
Right.
no one uses consistently.
Right.
And then they actually end up slowing down their sales process or sales instead of streamlining it.
Well, and instead of them using the technology, they let the technology use them. And what that means is there's all these things technology can do.
Right.
And like, well, okay, go ahead and do it. And they're not controlling how they're using it. They're not maximizing it to schedule. Like, if you've got a Calendly and you're not structuring it to maximize your effectiveness so that you can do the things that you commit to do because
Right.
somebody scheduled an appointment, well, that's just over access or however you want to describe it.
Right.
But that's letting the technology do things that you can't.
Right.
This
Yeah.
might be a guy I want to work with.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so the other thing to be leery of, and I go not back and forth, but I'm always leery of this idea. And I say this as we're literally in the middle of working with this kind of all-in-one solution right now. Is some companies exist because they specialize in a particular thing, right?
Right.
So, like, in my opinion, Calendly, as an example, is a superior tool
Okay.
to other less expensive tools or other ones that, quote unquote, do the same thing, which is scheduling.
Right.
But I think they do it better.
Okay.
So the question becomes, though, now I have a new tool that we're working with right
Okay.
now that has their own calendar system built in.
Okay.
It has their own signing system built in,
Right.
already to the software. So now I don't need DocuSign. Now I don't need Calendly. Now,
Okay.
Is the tool, the integrated tool, superior
Right.
or just good enough?
Right.
And that, to me, though, I always go back to, what is the business need?
Right.
Right? So
Right.
is it good enough? Yes, it's not the absolute best version ever in the history of whatever,
Right.
but is it good enough? Does it do the job? And does the overall efficiency I
Right.
pick up outweigh the fact that, I wish it did this, or I wish it
Right.
looked like this versus the other one?
Right. Well, and what you're talking about, Cory, is individually versus collectively, right?
Mm.
If you have individual programs that you have to use in and of themselves, they may have great tools for
Right.
you and they may do some things for you. But to your point, how much of those do I really need to keep my business moving forward? Or am I going to be more effective by containing everything in one system?
Right.
And maybe I sacrifice the specialty of that particular, and we'll use Calendly because that's what we're talking about. But you've got a CRM or you've got a comprehensive system that allows things to be integrated. So now you're saving yourself time. And that time certainly is valuable.
Right.
Is what you're giving up worth the time that you're saving to use that one system?
Right. No, 100%. All right. Since there was nothing there, let's go to number 2.
Sure.
He understands how this works here. It's probably crunching on some granola on the soundboard there, guys. Guys, did you have your granola this morning, sir? Because I know He's like a Snickers commercial, you know, where he doesn't get his granola. Oh, it's empty. Okay.
Go. Right.
I didn't really actually think he was eating granola over top of all the electronics, though. Yeah. We're going to have a meeting afterwards. We're going to have a meeting, crumb dust over there on our boards there. There is no maintenance plan. We're not on any kind of maintenance plan. Just so you know over there. All right, number 2. Customer experience gets complicated.
Yeah.
So overly complex systems. You've got, you've got your chat bot, you've got your ticketing system, you've got your portal. The problem is sometimes this can actually frustrate customers who want fast human help.
Right.
So the question to ask is, does this tech make it easier or harder for my customer to get what they want?
Right. Well, and I think the human experience and people want to feel something. They want to feel, and what people want to feel is special.
Yeah.
And so when you go all in on tech and you lose some of that human connection, some of that interactivity, you may lose some customers or some clients because they feel like you don't care about them. And so,
and you better believe it.
You can't please people all the time.
Well, it's what's your business, right?
Yeah.
Is your business churn? Is your business high volume, high quantity? Or is there some experience that you need to be able to create for your patient?
Well, and the tech, though, does it. So now, we're in my birthday month.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yay.
Hope you should have been saving for the last 6 months. What the heck? We're in my birthday month, so now I'm getting all the birthday emails.
Yes.
And I just remarked to my wife this morning, got a birthday email from one of our favorite restaurants. And the restaurant's like, oh, happy birthday. Have a dessert on us with the purchase of 2 entrees.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. Like, that's all you got?
Right.
I get a free lemon bar? Suck it. That's basically what they said to me. Like, you wasted an email. You wasted an email. So you were using technology to make me feel special, to acknowledge my birthday, to do all these things. But then you give me an offer.
Well, it didn't make you feel like you were like a
versus
special
like the jewelry, the local jewelry store is like, hey, $100 off.
Right.
Now you got to spend $500.
Right.
But $100 off 500 is 20%.
20%. Right.
Right. I mean, that's a tangible scenario there. I don't need any jewelry, but the point is, though, so now as I assess all these offers, or like there's another restaurant that is buy one, get one for your birthday.
Oh,
buy one entree, get the other entree free. Now you got me excited, not a slice of lemon meringue pie.
Right. Well, and what that's saying is, some of them say, Cory, happy birthday, and we think you're special.
Right.
Some of them say happy birthday.
Yeah.
And this is what we
come
got.
Give us more money.
Right.
And we'll treat you to a s'mores.
Right. I mean, they'd have
crunch a bunch.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Betty Crocker slice of cake. All right, let's get to number 3. Number 3, growth bottlenecks that now get created by tech.
Okay.
So like, some tools.
Right.
Too much customization.
Okay.
Too much training.
Yeah.
Too much IT. These things can also stall your growth. So if you've put in this technology, but now you're constantly troubleshooting it.
Right.
That creates a problem.
Right.
So tech debt and integration problems can become a hidden tax on your team's time and focus.
Yeah, I mean, and what you're talking about, Cory, is this technology is causing problems that you have to solve, so you can't do the thing that your business is intended to do. Right. So you can't get to the customers. You can't get to the people because you're too busy solving the technology problems. And so, I mean, what you want technology to be able to do for you is you want it to be able to grow with your business. You want to be able to do that. So it all comes back to.
Look at you teeing up the next point, but go ahead and finish. Go ahead. See, you didn't even know. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. You deserve that. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
The reality of it, though, is that you want you just need to be able to grow your business so that you can be effective. But you've got to decide what you want the technology to accomplish for you so that when you choose it and develop it, that's what it's doing.
Right.
And it goes back to what you said in the first point is what do you need it to do and what integration makes it more effective for you.
Right.
Same.
So, Cory can do all of these things. Great. I don't need 22 things. I need the 5 things done very well.
Great. Great. Yeah. Well, it's like the phone, right? I mean, we all have these amazing phones.
Sure.
I've got an Apple. We've got Apple laptops and computers. There's all these things the phone can do.
Right.
There's all kinds of apps out there.
Right.
I don't have them all.
Correct.
I have the ones I use.
Correct.
And the ones
for some people, despite their best efforts,
right,
they don't have them all.
Correct. Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the phone can do all kinds of things, but I use it for what I use it for.
I've got a short fuse, like in terms of like user interface and stuff.
Right.
Like, I've switched banks because the user interface is just so arcane.
Yeah.
That it's like, I'll pay more to do business over here just so I don't have to navigate this nonsense that you have.
Well, right. And that's the concept that we talk about, right? Is that people will pay more for a more valuable experience.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Number 4, you had started to you said it in an indirect way, but number 4 officially is buy for today's needs, not tomorrow's dreams.
Yeah. Absolutely.
See how you see?
I like that. Yeah.
You weave that in there. So, particularly for small business owners, like avoid buying enterprise grade software, for a business that particularly is still refining its core processes.
Right.
Scale your tech as you scale the operation. So, because a lot of times buying for someday can lead to a big waste today, whether financially or, again, the system's so robust that you can't even get your arms around it. And then your people can't get their arms around it.
Right. Well, and what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to solve the problems that you have now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and leave space for growth.
Right.
But, understand too that there are going to be times where you'll need to upgrade your technology. Just know that, but make sure that you can do what you need to do today.
Correct. And you certainly can have elements of the technology that expand.
Correct.
You just don't need all 62 modules right now. You may not, right? It may seem great but practical application may not make sense.
Right.
And that's an important factor there.
Well, and I think too, I'll give you an example. Like my bank, my checking account, I can get 50 transactions for free for my business side of it.
Right.
And then there's other things once you start to get more business. And as I start to grow, I don't need that more until I start to hit that threshold of 50 transactions a month.
We got bank's a whole nother show because I tell you, so many of them are missing the boat on, like, they're not reading the tea leaves in so many different ways in terms of certain products and services and what,
especially with small businesses.
Yeah. Like I had to leave one because they're charging people $30 a month for ACH service.
Right.
Before I send an ACH.
Right. Oh, before you send it.
Correct.
So it's like a membership fee.
Correct. To be able to do it. When the bank down the street is $1.50 to send an ACH.
Right.
Many are free. You're online, you're fintechs.
Right.
So, but a lot of people are scared of fully digital, no branch. But even that, you can $1.50 to do one.
Right.
Why would I pay $30 plus?
Right.
Like sooner or later, that's got to make a difference for people. Once they start paying attention too. And people are starting to pay more attention to fees and bills and these type of things than they have in the past. So, yeah,
people are looking for solutions. And they're looking for valuable solutions. And people will pay for excellence. They will pay for excellence, but there's certain things, but when it matters.
Yeah.
And, you got to, if you're paying for outbound ACHs as a membership model, well, that's where you start to look at your banks. Which bank are you using and what are their programs? For sure.
Correct. Agreed. All right. 5, shiny object syndrome. So, we know new tech. New tech launches literally every week. Right. So, just because it's trending doesn't mean it's right for your model.
Right.
Right. So, I'm suggesting to people maybe think about this like like a 3-question test.
Okay.
You know, like
Right.
A, does this solve a current pain point
Right.
without creating another one?
Right.
2, is it something that can be fully adopted by your team?
Right.
And then 3, you know, will it directly contribute to like either revenue, retention,
Right.
or even operational savings? It's got to fall in those categories. But
Right.
like those kind of core 3 questions before you go, hey, is this right for me?
The other thing I would add to that, those 3 questions are great, Cory. The other thing I would add to that is, what can this replace that I'm currently using? Because a lot of times we stack things and we continue to add things. And look, as we get older, our closet looks like that a lot, right? We'll add a new shirt or a new something, and we haven't like, oh, wow, I still got this thing with a tag on it that would have been just as good as what I just bought.
Sure.
You know, so I use that as an example, but the reality of it is if it's not replacing something that you're currently using and it's not going to contribute to generating revenue growth,
right?
Then, you know, maybe you should.
Like it's got to be a direct path.
Correct. Like it's got to be a lane or a parallel lane for sure, toward in the direction that you're taking your business.
No, I like it. Okay. A lot of people don't consider also the human cost of tech. And that reality becomes, if you're bringing in things, and again, this is a fine line that you want to play. Because it's very easy for people, particularly if your organization is long time established, you have long time employees, very easy for everything to be a problem.
Right.
Right. Any idea that we would change any product or system, oh no, we don't want to do that. What's work, you know. So you're going to have people that may give you pushback, but there is an opportunity or situation where sometimes investing in people, where employees often feel overwhelmed through the learning process or juggling too many tools.
Right.
Which can contribute to higher churn, lower morale, those type of things, burnout, if you have unnecessary tech complexity.
100%. And one of the things I talk to leaders about is, you know, removing barriers. And we have a tendency as leaders and as business owners to think we can get everything out of people's way all at once,
right?
And they're going to embrace all of it. And the reality of it is we get frustrated because they don't embrace everything at the same time, and certainly don't prioritize things the way we want them to.
Right?
They're going to prioritize things that are the easiest for them to integrate. So I say all of that to say this: the more technical the new product, the new technology, the harder it is to learn, the more involved it is.
Right.
Create more space for them and incorporate training, but focus only on that before you start stacking other things.
This might be a guy I want to work with.
I mean, I gave Willie H at least 5 business days, I think, to get fully trained up on our new system that's got 72 moving parts to it. So I'm thinking that's fair. I mean, he's probably good. My wife's in the studio now too. You're all trained up, right? Yeah. She's all trained up. She's using a new device that we have now. She got trained up on that.
Yeah.
She had 24 hours notice, 24-hour availability to get done. I mean, that's it. Right? We got to get in there. So, I mean, I'm reasonable. You can have an extra day or two.
Work with me, brother. Work with
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. 7. So this is more something to be paying attention to, really, from a tech standpoint. Is you want to be on the lookout for like vendor lock-in and contracts.
Oh yeah,
because a lot of times people get locked into long-term contracts or proprietary ecosystems that ultimately limit flexibility.
Right. Especially those all-in-one systems. You talked about in the beginning, these comprehensive systems. Sometimes they're right for you, but sometimes they do lock you in.
Right.
And it's so cumbersome and so cost prohibitive to get out that it does end up stifling your business. It does end up limiting your ability to grow. And
we're dealing with that right now with the client. That's in a contract that we can't get. I say can't get out of. We can buy our way out of it, of course.
Right.
But it's it wasn't vetted. The contract wasn't vetted properly.
Right.
When it was signed up,
Right.
and now they're in it. The product is lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the bottom of the learning curve instead of the front of the learning curve.
Right.
And now it's a auto renew contract. So
Right.
you're stuck into it for another year, or you can buy yourself out by buying yourself out.
By paying the rest
So
of the
now to
year,
bring in the right system, now they're going to be in a situation where you're paying for two systems, the right system and the old one that we're trying to sunset.
Right.
For that reason. So that is something definitely worth looking at. Also when we talk about the proprietary scenarios too.
Right.
I'm a dare to be different person,
Right.
but sometimes the institutional the institutional way has value.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, this is, where we go back to your questions, right? What are you trying to accomplish with this, and how long do you need it to work for you?
Mm-hmm.
And some of these long-term agreements, some of these auto renewable, some of these 60, 90, 120-day cancellation policies can end up costing you money, and it may be more effective to do a monthly instead of an annual.
Yeah, I mean so again, I want to also be on the other side of this too.
Right.
So, there are, projects that we do that like 30 days, a lot of times you're hedging or you're investing in something for something longer term.
Correct.
Right? So, okay, great. I'm going to waive X, but I'm going to need time to recoup those dollars.
Right.
In terms of doing that. So I just got more in tune with the cell phone hustle and how they do these credits. How they always have these, we're going to give you $300 credit.
Right.
Well, the $300, of course, is a credit over 3 years while you're paying for the device. And what I didn't realize actually is that if you pay off your device early, I'm not calling out brands, but it's a cell phone company. But if you pay it off early, you lose the credit.
Oh, wow.
So the $300, that's like, whatever it is, $13 a month for 36 months. If you pay the device off in 6 months, you lose the 2 years of that credit.
Right.
So it only works if you stay in paying.
Yeah.
Because obviously the dollars and cents over 36 months of the core cell phone bills and fees outlays, outweighs the, cost to them doing this credit.
Right.
But like, what a hustle.
Yeah.
I was really pissed off about that, actually.
I can imagine that.
Because, the whole, we're going to give you, trade in your phone. You have $800, we're going to get $800 for your phone as a 3-year credit.
Right.
So if I don't take 3 years to pay, even at 0 interest, I don't want to keep paying for this phone.
Right.
But if I don't complete that, I don't get the full credit. Stinks.
Well,
that's just dumb.
I mean, dumb for me, great for them.
Makes sense for them, right? 100%.
For sure.
Yeah, and again, it's thinking about what does this allow me to do, and what does this commit me to do?
Right.
So that's to your point.
Commit. Don't get committed. All right. Number 8.
All right.
DIY.
Okay.
Versus done for you.
Right.
Versus delegate.
Okay.
So sometimes investing in people or partners is better than buying the tech.
Yeah.
Right? Buying the service.
When the church say amen.
Right.
Yeah. Buying the service to execute is better than necessarily buying the tech yourself.
I think a perfect example is there's in our town, there's a number of social media companies that what they do is they take your content and they use their technology and then they push it out and promote you and do the ads. That's a good example of, is this something that you want to do for yourself, but it's not really in your area of expertise. It's not really you're more of a service-based business or more of a product type business. You focus on your area of expertise and you hire somebody to do that for you instead of buying all of the software so that you can do it for yourself.
Well, also it's like instead of buying a $5,000 email automation suite, hire a freelance marketer to run a simpler campaign that maybe actually gets results.
Right. Yeah. Somebody who does
Sometimes
that.
I don't want to know how it works. Like I want to know, I want to know just enough.
Right.
So that I have some idea.
Mm-hmm.
So the one area, so I generally so I'll get on those calls.
Right.
I was going through some setup calls on something we're working on just so I have a general idea. Now, I know I've got people that are going to go behind me and really build it out, but I wanted to have a general, idea. So that's kind of why I walk over to production and push buttons here and there. I'll push a button or two just so I know what's going on.
Well, what you want, and the higher you get, the further out you have
Willie
to
H
look.
loves that.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Hold on, Buckaroo.
So does my web developers.
Yeah.
My web developer, Ani, loves when I go in the back end and start touching stuff.
Well, you want to have enough of an understanding
Guaranteed
so
business
that
for
it
him.
makes sense. Right. Well, exactly.
To go fix it.
He's going to go fix the problems that you created.
I'm good at taking screenshots and sending them. I've perfected the screenshot.
Right. Well, that you're exactly right. You want to have enough of an understanding to know whether or not it makes sense what they're doing.
Right.
But you don't have to know how much salt they put in the recipe or how much pepper or how much oregano. You just need to know that it makes sense that they put all these things together to get the product that you're looking for.
Voice of reason.
Gotcha. Voice of reason. We hit them with the voice of reason.
There
All right.
Go.
9. We're almost there. We're bringing it home. Track the ROI.
Yeah.
Every piece of tech should have a clear ROI metric.
Yeah.
Saving time, increasing revenue, reducing costs, improving retention. If you can't really measure it, don't keep it.
Right.
Don't buy it.
Well,
we got to go beyond sounding great. Now, I'm a big proponent. We talk about in position. We talk about in the book, Position for Growth. Available on Amazon.com, available on Kindle, also at CoryMosley.com. We talk about in the book, Who Else-itis.
Right.
So I don't want people to be afraid to try things, be afraid to go first.
Right.
But it still needs to check those boxes.
Right. It's got to make sense for your business.
Yeah.
And you can be the first one. If it makes sense for your business and you can see a clear path to a measurable that you discussed, right? More efficient, more time, or less time in using it, generating more revenue, generating more leads that lead to more revenue. If you have a measurable that you can track, that you can say, this makes sense for my business, great.
Yep.
If you don't, then there's lots of things out there. This doesn't have to be one of them for you.
Maybe this guy can help me.
Bingo! I did my own one there.
There you go. Indeed.
All right,
Indeed.
final one before we get out of here.
Yeah.
I want to give you a tech decision filter.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is a good one to write down, rewind, save this video, maybe as a favorite here. So, a couple questions. Number one, is this replacing something that's broken?
Right.
Will it make the customer experience better?
Okay.
Can my current team adopt it easily?
Okay.
And can we test it before fully implementing?
Yeah. Like it.
And that's why you are the best.
The one that I would add to, because I like that. The one that I would add to is
nope. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is the third one. Because technology can be complicated.
Yes.
So when you say, can my team adopt it easily, or does my team have access to training?
Or does my team need to change?
Or does my team need to change? But do they have access to learning it and understanding it?
Willie H. perked up there. I mean, listen, it's like relationships. Right. So if we're not on the same growth path, or we're not growing, then we gotta go in a different direction. So if you're settling the way things are, well, unless you've got partnership or voting rights, this isn't a democracy. So now, having standard of care, so to speak, to say, and we've talked about this. We actually talk about it in a new course. I guess we should go ahead and announce that, Position for Growth. Yeah, we have a new course based on the book that's now available. Our Position for Growth course, we've got a 9-module course that really walks you through the 5 pillars and gives you exercises and an action plan. And we talk about, and we've done a show on this about the idea of trainable, coachable, replaceable. So we call it TCR. So yes, you have to be willing and available to properly train people and then coach them through the process. And then again, if they're just not getting it, whether from a skill set or a skill development or a just don't wanna,
Right.
then you have to be prepared to make those tough decisions for sure. And you can get that course. Go to CoryMosley.com, click the courses tab, and it will give you more details and information. And we've got a crazy, stupid intro price. It's under $100.
Oh my!
To get the course.
Wow.
So
get it now.
Don't listen to this episode weeks from now
right.
when it's $1,500 and go, oh man.
Right.
I don't want that email. Go ahead.
99 now.
Yeah.
Not 99 later.
Yeah, play around if you want to.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, the reality of it is that everything has a life expectancy,
sure.
right? And what we want to be able to do is we want to continue to keep people as long as we can because they're they're integrated into the business. We care about them and we want to continue to offer opportunities for them to develop so that if they grow, the business grows as well. The reality of it, though, is that everything does have a life expectancy, and at some point, everybody leaves. And so if they're stifling your ability to grow, then it might be a good time to consider either a different role or a different opportunity for them to
roll out.
Or roll out, right. Exactly.
I had a client call me years ago, and I'll never forget because it was a Saturday afternoon, and he called me up and he said that he's having problems with one of his managers.
Right.
This is auto industry.
Okay.
His general sales manager. So a general sales manager in the dealership is basically kind of what it sounds like. They're in charge of sales.
Right.
Generally, their next upline is a general manager who then, of course, is over sales, service, and parts.
Right.
But so general sales manager is the leader of the sales department.
Right.
He said, I got a problem with my general sales manager. I said, well, Brian, tell me what is it? He says he doesn't like to talk to customers. Now, Lon, you work with sales leaders, you in cross verticals. You don't have to be the car business to understand that someone who's in charge of sales for an organization that doesn't like to talk to customers is problematic.
Yes, it is.
That probably that bad. That probably makes that makes coaching problematic. That makes their ability to assist.
Right.
In that world, we refer to it as a TO, a turnover, bringing in a fresh face into a deal. That is kind of difficult when they don't like to talk to customers.
Yeah. Outside sales are called a closer, right? You got somebody who gets things unstuck. Yeah, that's a problem, especially in that role.
Yeah. And I said, not really a problem for me, Brian. I don't think he needs to be in that role anymore.
Right.
Well, he's been with me for a long time. I said, loyalty is a bonus.
Right.
Loyalty is a bonus when someone is doing their job right and all those things. It's a bonus factor.
Right.
Loyalty alone, someone's loyal, but they suck at their job. How does that help you?
Right.
Right. Your spouse is loyal, but they suck as a spouse. How does that? Oh, but they're always here. Oh, great. So anyway, the point.
We'll go. We'll do the car.
So give him another role, Brian, or move him somewhere else. He just can't be in that role. That's not. Some things you can't overcome.
Well,
he's not miraculously going to become great at talking to customers.
Correct. And sales is the engine that drives the car business, right? That's sales is the engine that drives a lot of businesses. So if you have somebody in a sales leadership role that can't sell,
that's right.
And you can't sell if you ain't talking to people. Well, there might be a good administrator.
Can't talk to customers. I need help. Let me get my manager.
Right.
Don't bring me to a customer.
Right. Yeah.
I had a boss like that. He was the parts manager, but they made the general manager.
You've told me about him, yeah.
I've told you this story, and there was nobody there, and he's like, I'm like, I need help. He's like, I don't know what you want me to do, because if I go over there, I'm going to give it away.
Right.
I commend his honesty about the situation, for sure. All right. Well, that wraps up our coverage and our topic on today's show. I hope you've got some valuable insights that you can take with you. And, listen, not overinvest in tech, make smart investments, rethink it, run yourself just through a checklist. It's very easy to get excited. I'm one of those people. I get excited by new technology. Willie H sent me some options on something that we bought. And I think he knew. I mean, I think he did the options as a courtesy,
Right.
and he did his best version of trying to convince me that this certain one was good enough for what we needed.
Right.
But he sent me a better option.
Right.
So it was probably predictable
Right.
which one I was going to get.
Right.
Right. So it's easy to get excited about this stuff.
Right.
Give yourself a step back moment, run it
Right.
through the filters, which was a good exercise. We went to the cell phone store to look at some things.
Yeah.
And once I learned a few things, it made me rethink. I resisted the urge to just like, oh, I'm doing it anyway.
Right.
I'm like, okay, this isn't really practical.
Right.
And even going through that checklist, is our tech broken?
Right.
No. Yes, there's better could it move slightly faster? Does it hold slightly more? But is it broken? Is it inhibiting my ability to function?
Right.
Those answers were no. So then, at that point, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, as I like to say.
Right.
And now cooler level heads prevail.
Right.
And, we postpone that till later. And I think that's a smart decision. So it's kind of just walking yourself through that process and not feeling pressured because the marketplace is telling you yes, you should be using AI. You should be figuring out how it's going to work for you.
Right.
But just running to do it because we're hearing story after story about inaccuracies
Right.
in much of it.
Right.
So that's dangerous too. Now you're living by, I'm going to see what ChatGPT says. Okay, well, it's not always right.
It's like going to Wikipedia to do your research.
Right. I mean, it's not always right.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
all right. I think that's going to do it for today's show. Well, I'm going to encourage you to check out Position for Growth if you haven't. And also the Position for Growth course available on CoryMosley.com. The book's also there as well as all of the past episodes of the Grow Business podcast, even some of our early ones. Maybe. Yeah, I think they're all there.
They're still there.
LG?
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming back. And next time, bring a friend.
That's right. Well, this does it for another edition of the Grow Business Podcast. I'm Cory Mosley on behalf of myself, LG007, Lon Graham, and Willie H. We thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Willie H. Okay, take us out. A little quick on the little trigger figure there. A little quick on the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, over tech.
Yeah.
It's easy.
It is easy. Tech. Well, because you get excited and then you make decisions.
Listen, you spend 15 minutes finding the app that you want to open for whatever it is it was supposed to do.
Right.
You know?
Exactly right.
So there is just such, I mean, I look at stuff sometimes and I'm like, there's no way I'm doing all of that.
Right.
Like, so, okay, it does this, and this, and this, and this. I don't even have the patience to set it up. Now, maybe if somebody set it up and started using it,
right?
Maybe I need a resource to use it.
Right.
Like I'm getting the software for somebody else to use it to then solve my problem.
Well, and that's perfectly fine. You can either hire a gig worker to do it,
virtual
or you can
assistant
hire a
type
virtual
thing,
assistant or a full-time employee, whatever makes sense for your business. But it's got to make sense.
Correct. Yeah.
And not when you're excited. I think the biggest thing you talk about is, create this questionnaire and this filter in the quiet space of wherever your quiet space is.
Yeah.
So that when you do get excited, you're like, okay, well, let's run it through that filter.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Got to do it.